Let's all close our eyes and have the prayer. Om. Om. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunattu, saha viryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om, and a very, very good morning to everybody. Am I audible? You can just show
Yes,
your
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Amma.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Hari Om. And I think you're able to see the PPT which I have just put on the screen. Can you see that? The PPT is seen?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, see, we've been hearing about the national education policy for quite some time. Since last year, we've been talking about it and all of that. The direct impact is going to be on all of us, the schools. Those we are connected with schools, and we are all going to be directly affected. And the policy has been released by the government this year. But it's very, very essential for us to know the nuances of it. What are the nuances of that? Somebody's mic is still on. Yeah. So I have muted all of you. Please do not unmute yourself. Do not unmute, please. I can see one Chinmaya. I don't know who is that. We are all Chinmaya. There's one Chinmaya says that one is, it is Deepa Nair is to unmute. Deepa Nair is to mute herself. And there are 2-3 people. So please mute yourself. Okay. It will be easy for us to continue if you all mute ourselves. Okay. So, that is again I can see people.
Mine is mobile mute. Mute.
Neelam Bajaj. There are people who are not unmuted. That's why it's disturbances.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Please mute your mic, Sama. Please mute. Thank you.
My mic is muted, ma'am.
You cannot speak when if I'm hearing you. That means it's unmuted. Yeah, right now it's muted. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So in the Coimbatore Sahodaya, they wanted us to conduct this program. So I was one of the members who conducted the national education policy to the Coimbatore Sahodaya schools, wherein about 103 schools participated. It happened in the month of August. It happened in the month of August. I don't know who is unmuted. Okay. So, but I don't know who's not unmuting. I don't know, but unable to continue. Is there? Who's not unmuted? I've muted all, but then you're unmuting yourself. Please do not unmute yourself. Fine. So I was actually wanting to do a session for the Chinmaya Vidyalaya teachers too, because whatever I conducted for the Sahodaya Coimbatore and I conducted for the CARS schools also. But then I thought we should get an expert for the Chinmaya Vidyalaya. So I got in Mr. Satyakumar coming and doing a session for all the Chinmaya Vidyalaya teachers and principals actually. That happened last month again. But he is an authority by himself. He's an expert. He's working very closely with the government also. But unfortunately, he touched very, very generally. It was very generic and not the minute details and nuances were not given. So I thought I will take 1 more hour with all of you and do this. So the government is asking all school principals to communicate to their own teachers I'm sure some of the CBSE schools would have already gotten a mail saying that you should conduct sessions for your own teachers. So this session, what I'm doing, I'm asking our office, our Meena ma'am, to record it. She will be sending the recording of this along with the PowerPoint to all the schools so that you conduct a Zoom session for your own teachers and let them all get to understand about it. And mainly, there are two things. One was the recommendations that were submitted to the government in the month of May 2019, which is a huge kind of document which talks a lot about the implementations of the national education policy. And what government released now in this year, in the month of May, government released, the central government has released it. That has got, it's a policy document. You see, policy does not talk very, very elaborately on what should be done. Policy, say for example, policy says quality education should be offered. But then how quality education at various level, all of that comes very, very in detail in the draft. So I have used the draft of the education policy which was submitted last year and the policy document which is released this year, combined it together, and I have presented this presentation. Very few slides only. You can have questions. The complete thing will take not more than 45 to 50 minutes, 10-15 minutes of question answers you can have later. And please, you need not write it down or anything, since I'm going to send you this PPT alone also. If you want, I can share it with you. Now, if you see first we need to look at the vision statement of the education policy. National education policy, it says this, I want to read the vision. The National Education Policy 2019, it was drafted in 19, envisions an India-centered education system that contributes directly to transforming our nation sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all. This is the vision statement which is released for the education policy. But you can see the two coined term, which is one is India-centered education system. You know, the more and more I do these sessions, I have done, this is the fourth presentation I'm doing, more and more I read the draft, I realize that we are the leaders in the current policy. Chinmaya Vidyalaya are the leaders in current policy because it is completely based on what we are already doing, the Chinmaya Vision program. Just imagine, 25 years, Chinmaya Vision program was introduced 25 years ago in 1996, and 25 years before, these thoughts have already come into our acharyas, the Chinmaya Mission, and they've brought in such a beautiful program called Chinmaya Vision program. You agree with me that we are working completely on India-centered education system. We talk about our chanting, we talk about our yoga practices, we talk about Indian culture, our celebrations, everything. There is a big mention of India-centered education system that we can see as we go on. And also the next word, which is very, very catchy term in the vision statement, is transforming our nation. Our Gurudev very clearly says, only through individual transformation, a nation's transformation is possible. If individuals do not transform, no transformation in the nation is possible. So that is something. And even Anukulananda ji, whenever he conducts the Chinmaya Vision program, the first presentation that we share wherever we go is what is the purpose of education. It is not for getting marks. It is not for getting a job. It is not for earning money. It is transforming individuals. The individual who is joining us at a very young age, he gets completely transformed. He understands the need of discipline. He understands the need of values in his life for carrying it on. So that way, when they do it, it can transform our nation. Only when individuals transform, nation can transform. You saw yesterday in the Rajya Sabha how the adults were behaving. They behaved so badly. It's become an issue all over. There is no discipline in the adults. That is what is being, that can see that the kind of education people have gone through has not made any difference to them. It has not refined them. It has not made them gentle. Express your views, but be very gentle and be, honor and have a proper discipline in whatever we do. That is missing here in today's society. So government daily feels that education should transform our. Another very important term in the vision statement is the sustainability. Sustainability is not like a formula that we do something. And when we talk about CVP, we always say that CVP is not a quick fix attachment. It should be blended in the whole school curriculum. It has to be the root of the education offered in a program in a school. The same way, if the vision is completely penetrates throughout every individual, every single school, every teacher understands the policy, the vision, then only the transformation is possible. And just to give you a little history about it, the last national education policy was framed in 1986. The national education policy was drafted in 1986, and they modified it a bit in 1992. So 1992 means you can see almost 30 years, 3 decades. Now the second next policy has been revised. We have been following the system provided by the British education system, and we have not touched upon it. And for 30 years, we have not done anything, and we've been following it. And now the next policy has come out with around 500 pages, and the draft has around 1 lakh suggestions for the education system to implement. Whatever we are missing, there have been an anxiety. They have put everything into the new education policy. And who drafted it? It was drafted by a committee headed by Kasturi Rangan, and he is the ISRO chief. He was the former ISRO chief of in India, and he has been he has headed this committee, and it was submitted to Prakash Javadekar, HRD minister, in the month of May 19, 2019, last year. Shri Kasturi Rangan has drafted. It's something which is interesting for us to know who did the work, who was all responsible for it, all that. This is a huge committee. That was the draft was released in May 2019. And now one of the changes that has happened is in 1983, if I'm right, education ministry, education, schools, universities, CBSE, all the boards were brought under HRD ministry. Earlier to that, we had education ministry in our country. But in 1983, if I'm correct, that was the time when they made it. They said education is to bring out individuals, human resource. It is about students coming out of the school, so they brought it under human resource development ministry. Earlier we had education ministry, it was brought under HRD ministry, and now currently it is again, they have decided the HRD education, the CBSE board and all will not come under HRD ministry. They are going to have a ministry, education ministry. It's coming back to the education ministry now. That's for something for all of us to know. And the one thing which we have all come to know is, we've understood is the 10+2 system has been replaced with 5+3+3+4 system. We had a 10 standard, 1 to 10, and then 11 and 12. It has been replaced with 5+3+3+4 system. We'll look at what are these systems. And after the policy, NEP, National Education Policy, now the job lies in the hands of the National Curriculum Framework. They have to look at the policy, they have to read the draft, and then they have to tell us how to go about it. See, we cannot do anything. Schools cannot do anything. So the curriculum framework is going to be framed. Now they've started their work. After 15 years, they have never not done any updates on the curriculum. We are currently following the National Curriculum Framework to now they are working out how to shift from 10+2 system to 5+3+3+4 system. If you see 5+3+3+4 system, it is 15 years, whereas 10+2 is only 12 years. So what is the change that has happened? The 3 more years change has happened as the primary year. If you see CBSE inspection or anything, boards used to be, even the state board or the central board or the ICSE board, they used to only look at class 1 as the starting point till now. That's why 10+2 addressed from 1 to 10 and then 11 and 12. But now government wants to address 5+3+3+4. The 5, we have the nursery, lower KG and upper KG. 3 more classes are getting into the framework now. They understood that we cannot start with class 1, which was 6-year-old a child or a 5-year-old child used to get in. Now, right from 3 years onwards, they wanted to work on. So right now, when CBSE inspection or anything happens next year, or anybody is starting a new school, they will be asked about the nursery classes also. It's called as a preschool, you can call, or it can be nursery, then lower KG, upper KG. The 3 important years have been included in the 5. Other than that, 1 to 12 standard only is the basic system. So this is about that. And how are they going to call the 5 years, the first 5 years? They are now coining it. There are terms which we should know. If you are in the field of education, we should know what is the policy saying. The first and foremost thing is the first 5 years, now they are calling it as the foundation years. It is now founded. We don't have to say this is preschool or that is in school, all that. It is about 3 years of preschool, and 1 and 2, class 1 and 2, all of them come under the foundation years of a schooling for a child. That's what is now the biggest change that has happened. So the 3 years of this age group of 3 to 6, it can be nursery, lower KG, upper KG, or you call it as preschool, lower KG, upper KG, whatever you want. But that is going to be the 5 years of foundation years of 5 years. And then the next group comes as class 3, 4, and 5, which is the age group of 8 years to 11 years. It is 8 years to 11 years. That has a class from class 3, class 4, class 5. That is the second stage of the grouping has been done. And the third grouping is age group of 11 to 14, which is called the 6 to 8, classes 6, 7, 8, 3 years. And then the last group is the 9, 10, 11, 12. They are come under the 4 years of education. So now 11, 12 was plus 2 was now from 9 to 12 is one group, and each group has got the names also. I'll go through that very clearly. So you've got the clarity. There are 4 groups. First is 5 years. We have the primary. There is a change that has happened in the 5 years is we used to start schooling with class 1 as for the boards are concerned. If you see, there is no nursery curriculum at all in our board, in our CBSE and all that. They start off with class 1. Now there will be a curriculum for the preschools also, upper KG, lower KG, and there's 3-year onwards. And so if you let us take a look at the first one. The first one is called as the foundation years. It is from nursery to class 2, and it is also called as ECCE. It's very nice for us to know these terms. It's called as early childhood care and education. It is called as early childhood care and education. Now, for us, see, though the board did not have nursery KG, most of our schools have been running nursery classes, lower KG, upper KG classes. And what we were doing in those classes, we had a lot of activities, we had a lot of games, we had a lot of celebrations, we had color day and this, all of that we were storytelling, all that we were doing. That is what is enforced again in this early foundation years. Up to second standard, they say all that. One very, very important change that is going to have an impact on us is there is a shift towards the mother tongue. They say early foundation years, children should be allowed to learn in mother tongue. For us, what is the impact of national education policy in the foundation years? Nothing much. We were doing nursery, we were doing lower KG, we were doing upper KG, and we were having a lot of activities, everything is same, but there is a shift towards the mother tongue. That is something very, very big change that has come into the national education policy. And why they have brought in this nursery, lower KG, upper KG along with class 1, there's a very big reason. Now they've involved a lot of neuropsychologists and all of them, and they have come very, very clearly that 85% of the child's cumulative brain development occurs prior to 6 years. So this was a data that they received. So they said, now let us not leave children, 3, 4 year, 5-year-old children playing at home and not doing anything. Because you see, those children who are going to English medium, they go for nursery, upper KG, lower KG. But what about the children in our villages and all? They just keep playing till 5 years at home and not much of cognitive skills are not developed. So they say 85% of the child's brain development happens under 6 years. So they decided, let us bring it inside the foundation years mainly for the corporation schools, village schools, all of them, Anganwadis. They're going to have a curriculum now. Earlier we did not have a curriculum. Now we will all have a curriculum, and they want all the children by 2030 should get ready for school going by this 3 years of preparation for that. That is one thing. And what is the focus of the early childhood care education? One is this, these are things which many of us are doing in our schools. You'll see that Chinmaya Vidyalayas, we have a nursery teachers training programs also we have conducted. When we did the programs, we have conducted it. We have given inputs into the teachers also. It should be multifaceted. It should be flexible. various levels, a lot of play-based, activity-based, and inquiry-based learning should come into the early ages. This is the age where they say lot of activity-based and inquiry-based learning should happen, which majority of our schools are doing. CVP addresses a lot of these areas. And they've also given some specifications that alphabets, languages, numbers, counting, colors, shapes, indoor play, outdoor play, puzzles and logical thinking, problem solving, drawing, painting, visual art, crafts, drama, puppetry, music, and it should be enriched with a lot of activities and lot of resources available for children. Movement, morning they say they can do aerobics in the classrooms before the start of the day, things like that. Quite a number of these things are happening in different parts of the world outside. You see in Finland, a lot of these things are being implemented. So that is what is being suggested. And social capacities also, he should become he should be able to mingle with people. It's the child to child. If you see the fundamentals of CVP, we say that a child, when he enters the school, say for a 3-year-old, he doesn't know anything. He only knows his parents. So slowly he's introduced to a society. He starts seeing other kids of his own age, and then he sees teachers. He learns to, he gets refined. You will see, we ourselves are seen by the time the child comes to class 1, lot of social skills and sensitivity, good behavior. We teach them thank you, please, all of that. This is all mentioned. I don't have to go in detail into how we are going to do the foundation years, but a big emphasis, you look at the last point, this is very, very important, incorporating local traditions in the form of art, stories, poetry, games, and songs. The local art has to be communicated to the children. Like if you are in a village or a village setup, or if in Tamil Nadu schools should emphasize on the traditions of Tamil Nadu, how they do, and the Andhra Pradesh, they should give the traditions of that, because the child starts learning. Gandhiji has mentioned it. The easiest way of giving learning to a child happens in its own place, in the environment which is outside. For example, if you're talking about to a village child a mathematics question, you say John did this to Annie and Annie said this. See, they get disconnected. You use their own names. You say Bala did this and Shankar did this, or in Kerala you use names, stuff like that. So then they get connected. So all poetry, songs, storytelling, everything should be emphasized at this age. And they want the outcomes to be physical and motor development should be at the best. By the end of the 5 years, they should have a lot of physical. The child is able to do things, his hand motor development, and also the physical development. He's able to do bend down, do yoga, keeping his body fit. All that has been mentioned. And cognitive development is again has to be improved. You have to give him some problems, some situations where the child handles himself, and so that he understands for his own. And then the socio-economic and ethical development. Ethical is something very important. We need to tell the child this as what is right and what is not right. We need to bring that. And then the cultural and artistic development. Even some child who is very good in music or very good in drawing, all that development should happen. And communication should be there in the child. You should be able to communicate it. We are very, very poor. Even in our Chinmaya Vidyalayas, when I go there to visit schools, I find that communication of our children is not very, very strong. We need to work on it. We need to talk to children. That's something which we need to emphasize. These are quite a number of these things are possible if you have designed your class in such a way that there are not 65, 75 students in a classroom. So that again, we need to take a call. Probably these things will be followed by strict norms that a class cannot have 50 children in the nursery and all of that. Then you cannot talk to children, you see. Communication should be developed. And literacy and numeracy should also be nurtured in this early childhood age. So that's the major, so they're suggesting also good infrastructure, ventilation. They're not talking about air-conditioned classrooms and all of that, but neatly, colors attract children, you see. Children love colors, so putting colorful furniture or colorful classroom with a lot of things, charts and stuff, and then proper ventilation, air and sunlight is there in the classroom, and it's child friendly. We talk about the safety norms of the child. If the classroom cannot have, the flooring cannot affect the foot of the child, or the table edges should not be harmful. So friendly learning environment should be I have to tell you this, that whenever I go outside, I visit schools in different places in UK and all of that, absolutely child friendly. One unsafe thing will not be kept in the classroom. We have to take care about it. We have to go a long way in our Chinmaya Vidyalayas, how we use it and how we handle these things. You see, even the chalk pieces, we throw a lot of dust around, is not good for the child lungs. It's not at all good for that. Why for child? Even for teachers, it's not good for the lungs. So you need to take care about so many other, the global standards. The global standards also talks about teachers should have completely knowledge of it. See, our toilet should be very good in the class schools. Our cleanliness, I mean, toilet should be good, means we're not asking for a hi-fi toilet, but it should be cleaned. It should be free from bacteria and things like that. And that kind of environment will be, the training is going to include all of these global standards, and this probably will take care about it. And increased focus on reading, writing, speaking, all this, and mathematical thinking. The children need to understand, because some of the concepts become abstract in maths, so we have to do that. And then they are talking about no subjective assessment in the classes. It will be only formative. Throughout, you keep observing the child, his behavior, his ethics, what is he, his courtesy standards, his keeping his own things. Is he clumsy? Is he stern out in the classroom? His speaking, communication, all that will be assessed. Formative assessment is only permitted at this level. We can't give an exam and correct on paper and all of that. We see which has got to be developed. But don't worry about it. We'll all be given enough inputs. The curriculum development and assessment centers will give us all inputs out to do. Again, one-to-one peer tutoring and enjoyable inspiration books for all students at all levels must be. And they've also assured that a lot of language stories or short stories are going to be developed in different languages for children to have in Indian languages, all Indian languages, so that the textbooks have a lot of stories with a lot of good quality translations. And national book promotion policy will be formulated. Book clubs will be initiated to promote. At the class level 2 itself, children should read a lot of books. This is what is the very, very purpose. So because when they read book, when they read the stories, they get their own cognitive skills get developed. Otherwise, it's all instructional. We tell them, be honest. But when they read a book, they understand, they form their own concepts. So these are all based on the research work that has been done. So this is about the first foundation stage we have set. Then we go on to the next 3, 4, and 5. They are going to be called as the primary years. When we call foundation, class 1 does not come under primary now. 1 and 2 go into the foundation level. Primary years, we say classes 3 to 5. And the major task in the primary years is it should be a smooth transition from the foundation years to the primary years. You cannot abruptly change and go ahead in the same way. The groundwork laid down in the foundation stage should continue. And building a strong framework for identifying nurture. This is a very crucial area where the government wants us to identify. No longer we are going to be only looking at children getting marks. Good school means children getting good marks. Good teacher means teacher getting good marks. That is not going to be the standards now anymore. Children who are good in art. If a school is able to identify, well, this boy is good in drawing, this boy is good in running, this boy, that identification is a very important at this stage. Identifying and developing nurturing talents in arts and sports along with academics is the biggest task of teachers. You just got to identify, because 6 to 8 they got to go ahead and decide what they want to do with the skills they have. And we have to integrate them into the curriculum. Somebody is very good in art. How are we going to, if the school hours need to provide inputs to the child in arts and sports, how are we going to do that? That is what is something very, very important. Nowadays, you know that when the 10th standard, 9th standard parents tell us, I don't want him to play, let him get marks. That is not going to be the scene. So no more anymore. We need to see the school should encourage it. School should nurture. If there is a examination and the boy is in 10th standard, we ourselves sometimes say, don't go for this match. You better sit and study. That cannot be. The school has to endorse that they can do sports and arts. And that is the biggest change the curriculum has brought. and then a seamless transition into the next stage. From this primary years, they need to go to next stage. So for that preparation, all preparation needs to happen this time. And what are they saying about this primary classes 3, 4, and 5? Children should love coming to school. There should be a lot of joy for children coming to school, and it has to be enjoyable and engaging. Children should be engaged. You cannot leave out a single child in the classroom. You are doing some work and 40% of the children are engaged, others are not interested. Cannot happen. You've got to devise methods where it is holistic and it is engaging the complete 100% of the children. That will happen only when they are interested in what they are doing. You see, the bottom lies, it lies with the teachers. This policy demands all of us to work in a very big way, that any activity I do, how is it going to engage the entire class? Integrate. See, suppose you are doing an English class also. Somebody is good in writing, or somebody is having able to recite it, and his memory skills are good. But somebody can draw about that poetry itself. Somebody can do that because he's good in that. And someone can enact in the classroom. We have this hyperactive children, all the time, bodily kinesthetic children. You need to engage them in such a way that they are also participating in the learning. Then learning becomes complete. So achieving skills of reading, learning, writing, that is this stage. So they are suggesting a lot of strategies: the play method, activity method, discovery method, language skills. And here too they say continue with the mother tongue. They have been encouraging up to class 8. They are saying continue with mother tongue, do not leave the mother tongue. And light textbooks, not heavy textbooks, should be given to children. There will be a lot of development skills, a lot of talking skills, listening skills, all that need to be encouraged. And interactive classroom learning. Children and teacher interaction should be there. Allow them to speak. Don't worry about the syllabus. I have to finish, so don't ask questions. It will not work. Many of them, they do it right now. Maths teachers, they say, no, don't ask, disturb. No, let me finish the portion. Otherwise, principal will say, why didn't you finish? No, that is not the idea now. Interactive. They can have n number of questions, because we just got to change our own beliefs. You see, the challenge is in the teachers only, because we got to understand, we have come in a formal way of learning, so we think that will only continue. I am only teaching the child, but it is not the case. They have their own ways of learning. So you have to only provide that stimuli to the child. So interactive, foundation, solid groundwork in the subject science, mathematics, inquiry, many experiments, hands-on, all of that should be done. Physical education, arts should also be emphasized. And then the storytelling, there's so many places the draft talks about the storytelling. They are saying it's a very beautiful pedagogical tool. And do you think about it, why they are putting storytelling as a tool? Because children love stories. They like to hear. Use that, and then you can illuminate whatever the child what is taught. And classroom interaction, activity-based learning. And don't keep one subject in a loop. Maths, this is maths class, this is science class, this is social science class. All subjects can be integrated, so the learning process become easy for the children. That is the big idea. And the process becomes learning when you connect it to the real life situation. You see, unless you connect the mathematics, if you say add 1 plus 2, half, and 1 by 3, the child, it becomes so abstract. So whereas if you see that one child ate half of a pizza, other child ate 1 by 3 of the pizza, who ate more, things like that, then they are able to relate it to the life. And learning language, again, mother tongue, local language as medium of instruction till class 5, appreciated even up to class 8. And the 3 language at this level should be introduced, and 2 should be Indian. They are very strong about languages. There's a big focus on language this time in the policy. So the 2 languages, I don't know what is Tamil Nadu going to do. They only believe in 2 languages. They've not done, but this is all boards have to follow 3 language system in the primary years. But no language should be forced on a child. We can allow them to learn or any language that the child wants. And also they want to achieve this by 2025, because the policy is out that also. And for the language policy, there is a lot of science books also they plan to bring out in different languages. These are the government has taken up this commitment of bringing out science books, social science books, coming in different languages, or at least if the books are not available, the transaction between teachers and students should be between home language. I think we have been using one statement saying only use English, don't talk in any other language. But now there's a big change that is coming. You can explain it in Malayalam, or you can explain the child what you are teaching in Hindi and all of that. And teachers are supposed to use a bilingual approach, learning material and all that. Of course, if children want English, we can offer it. That's what the says. I don't know how strongly we can work on it. Then the third stage comes is the middle school. It is called as the middle school from classes 6 to 8. And then here the evaluation of knowledge, not that the rote learning is absolutely discouraged here. And here there's a major change. If you see the foundation years, there was one big thing which we are all got to understand is the mother tongue. It continues in the 1 to 3, 3, 4, and 5 also. We got to have bilingual approach and all of that, lot of activities, storytelling. Science can be taught using Malayalam or something like that. These are all new changes that has come. But in the middle school, you will see that there are major changes that has come in. Here is there are going to be no difference between art subjects and science subjects. And curricular, and there is nothing called as curricular activity, no extracurricular activity, vocational and all of that, academic stream. There is no difference. We need to note this very, very strongly, that if somebody is doing art and science, we say it is extra. The word extra, we really made it extra. We don't emphasize in our schools. That is become psychologically affected as co-curricular means, okay, curriculum is important. We also have co-curricular. So that has gone out of the system now. All are academic subjects. There is no difference between the subjects at all. And I think the art and the PE teachers and all will appreciate it, because we are giving importance to maths teachers. We don't give importance to the PE teachers. So that is gone now. They're all getting equal importance. And the new comprehensive national curriculum framework will be developed by NCERT, and it will be emphasized on Lakwal language. And they are talking about the medium of instruction is a very big change that has come through this policy. And there is a lot of assessment reforms that has happened. Again, here till this 8th standard, they are talking about a formative assessments only. They are not talking about summative assessments. And they're also going to assist us. They're going to provide us. There is an assessment center, which has come up called as PARAK. PARAK is Performance Assessment Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development. This is going to be a new body that government is going to set up, and which are going to give us directions, instructions, how to assess in the primary foundation years, in the primary years, and in the middle school years. All the guidance will be given by this PARAK, which is a new thing which the government is introducing. This center will be doing all researches, what would be the assessment in these classes. That's what is going to come. And also the 360 degrees report cards and the process of achieving and learning outcomes have to be introduced. We cannot just give marks, but we got to provide the 360 degree emphasis on it. And practical knowledge and skill development will begin from class 6 on. So this is a major change which has happened in 6, 7, 8, that every child needs to learn. See, CBSE kept on making requests to the schools, introduce a vocational subject, but none of us bothered. We never thought about it. Very few schools have introduced, and they have not emphasized. But now that those days have gone, now occasional has become a part of the 6, 7, 8 standard classes. Every child needs to take a vocational sin of his choice by the time they have to complete their schooling. In the 6th standard, they will start that. They can have carpentry, they can have coding, or they can have art for fine arts, or they can have dancing, music, singing, anything, but they have to take up one skill. And the very interesting thing is they are going to develop books on it. Suppose somebody wants to take the skill of the dancing as their vocational subject. There will be a book. The child will have to write an examination in that, and then it will be all the different history will be taught. What are the different forms of dance will be taught. So he gets groomed himself, and then by the time he leaves 12th standard, she can become a dancer and a performing artist in the society, because she's got a ground knowledge. Not like 2 years they learn Bharatanatyam, then do Arangetram, and then drop it after some time because I have to earn money, I can't do this. That's going to get away from the system. We will be requiring dance teachers who are educated dance teachers who can teach children, or the music teachers, or the carpentry, or any kind of a skill. All skills will be introduced in this year. Another very important transform that has come in this period is children will have to go for a 10 days of workshop or something, internship for 10 days from class 6 onwards. They can do it 6, 7, 8, all the 3 years. Every year, 10 days of workshop they have to attend outside. It can be internship. They call it as internship. If they're taking carpentry, they can go and work in a factory for 10 days and get the skills. See, it's something children are going to love this. You think about it, how children would love it. Sitting in the classroom all the time, listening to us. He's getting a 10-day break, but he's getting a much more knowledge than what will be offered in the classroom about from a textbook. So that is something very, very interesting that has come up. And sampling of important vocational crafts, carpentry, electrical work, metal work, gardening, pottery making, as decided by the states. The 6 to 8 children can take it up. That is another very important transform. And one vocational subject has to be there and exposed to several more. We need to allow child to focus. In the 6th standard, we can show these are all things. This is pottery. This is one introduction to children, and they get an exposure of, oh, okay, this is how it's electrical thing. This is what it is. And then he chooses whatever it is that. So by 2025, they want to achieve a SEM, and then this 10-day bagless period from 6 to 8, they will go and work with experts. The companies will take our children to give them exposure. That is a very important change. And it can be continued. It says that it has to start from class 6 and it can go up to class 12. In 6, 7, 8, 6 standard, they have a look at all the vocational subjects. They choose one subject and then they go for 10 days workshop in 6th and 7th and 8th as internships. And 11, 12, they can study advanced study in that particular skill that they have taken. Suppose you are studying about automobile, and then you see after 12th standard, the child can take automobile engineering and then he can start his own factory. That is why government wants to establish Make in India projects. We are making our own productivity, creativity increases. And the vocational courses will online mode also will be made available. The child is doing carpentry in the school, in the curriculum, but if he wants to know something more about something else, he can, online courses will be available for children. This is another change that has happened in the middle school level. And then the next one is the last section is the 9 to 12 section, where we call it as a secondary school. The senior secondary, the +2, all that name is gone now. All the teachers who are teaching from 9 to 12 all will come under the secondary school only. They're not calling it as the senior secondary level. I don't know what we are going to do with the nameplates. Schools have made senior secondary school. They need to find out how they're going to figure it out. The concept of junior college, which was having in some of the Karnataka has a lot of junior colleges, and in Maharashtra they had junior colleges. All that is dropped and no senior secondary. Everything will be called as the secondary school, or you can call it as a high school. 9 to 12 comes under that category. Here again, major changes are coming up in these cases. You will see that 6 to 8 and 9 to 12, the major changes are being drafted. In the draft, it is available. How much of it is government is going to provide it, and they have to collate it and provide it to us. You and I cannot do anything without it unless the government collates it. The NCERT books come out, we cannot do. But the main features are a great amount of flexibility in the courses going to be available for children. Great amount of flexibility. You and I cannot imagine the kind of flexibility that is going to be available between arts, vocational subjects, physical education, humanities, music, etc. So we are one of the reformation that has come is each year we'll have two semesters in this 4 years, 9, 10, 11, 12, only semester examinations. This is in the draft policy. They say quality assessment, no burden to children. These are the coined terms they use in the policy, but the draft has major changes, the transformations that need to happen. So I have presented this from the draft. Actually, these are not directly available in the policy. A total of 8 semesters in 4 years, it's been suggested. And of course, multilingual approach continues and interdisciplinary approach continues. A curriculum will aim at achieving high levels of digital literacy is very, very big aim of the secondary school. Digital literacy is about computer skills and coding, and a lot of things are coming under high levels of digital skills into that. And then enhancing scientific temper. If you see, these are the terms which I have picked up from the policy. Policy says high levels of digital literacy. How do we do that? So, coding as a subject in this computer science. They're going to have decoding. All of that is going to be part of the curriculum framework. It is not going to be a vocational subject or an extra subject. It will be a part of the curriculum. Enhancing scientific temper. How do you enhance scientific temper? Lots of hands-on tools, experimenting and all of that. And awareness and knowledge of Indian and local traditions is one of the beautiful things that has come up in that. Lot of things which we are doing in CVP in our Indian culture, it has all been mentioned in the draft. Actually, it's come up in the draft very clearly. The people should be given an awareness and knowledge of it. What do you call it as? See, that policy says flexibility should be there for students. But how do you achieve it? The draft says that students can make choice of subjects, arts, humanities, science, sports, occasional subjects, no academic extracurricular, that I already mentioned it. And NCRT, somebody can do a subject on yoga. Children are so flexible. In CRS, we see we have got about 15, we have 500 children. Yoga is compulsory, but there are 15, 20 children who are so flexible with yoga. I mean, they are outstanding. So they are, for children like that, there is going to be a course on yoga. So they will prepare the syllabus, dance, sports, music, drawing. Sports, if you see what we know of sports, we know of sports, children playing volleyball, basketball after game hours, and then probably sometime you have a school team and they're going representing. But this sports syllabus will talk about what is the size of the court, what is the size of the ball, what is the material ball is made of, or what are the sports connected medical professions that are available, what is the sports physical fitness, and then body fitness experts in that. Sports has got so many other areas which they need people working on, fitness therapists, all of that. So they will be studying about the whole lot of things about sports medicine. Is a big course by itself. Nothing we are paying attention these nowadays, because we are working on only English, physics, science, chemistry, mathematics, and sports is extracurricular. You're good at playing, okay, go play a game and win a prize, that's all. But it's not end that. Countries sports can get developed only we have knowledgeable people in the sports, knowledgeable in the sports. So that is what they're mentioning about it. Same thing compliant to applicable to all of this. Students can take up studies, fashion studies, physics, or bakery and chemistry. All these fluctuations and all of this is possible for the children to choose between subjects. And language again is secondary. They can also choose one of the foreign language. Sanskrit is encouraged at all levels. Again, coming back to our culture, they are bringing in Sanskrit. I remember last time when we did the seminar here on the Sashwata Goshti, people, the Sanskrit teachers were telling we will all lose our jobs because nobody wants Sanskrit and all of that. But you don't have to worry now. It's all coming up in a very big way, and they can do different. Sanskrit is encouraged in the policy, in the draft very much. And the music and art, we need educators in all this education so that they are going to be prepared. The B.Ed will also offer these subjects continuation. The science, a child does 6, 7, 8 sports as one of the subject, and then he goes to 9, 10, 11, 12 also, and then he joins a B.Ed college. He can study about sports, and he is an absolute knowledgeable and a thorough person who can handle sports in any level, in any school or college. Or that's how the nation is trying to build up the skills in different subjects, skilled people with a lot of knowledge, content knowledge, cultural heritage. And they are also suggesting call local artists to perform, and we were encouraging Speak Maki and all of that. The same thing is being continued, and all of this is mentioned. A lot of puzzles, and there is something in the mention in the draft about the fun learning. That is something very, very interesting, which we do is to do it in CVP orientation program. Puzzles and fun, for children to enjoy learning. They have made a mention about a paragraph without the letter E. So something children need to, E is one of the letters which is most commonly used in anybody writing anything. E, letter E has a role to play. And there is a blank passage which is without E. So show it to children. We are trying to catch the wonderment of children, the curiosity in children like that. And then there is a game in one of the history text, that one of the kings said that in a chessboard, whatever money I keep in the first square, I'll double it in the second square, and double it in the third square. From there, I'll keep on doubling the 54th square. Do you want that money, or I give you 1 crore? Which would you want? So it's interesting to know that the It goes on doubling in such a way that by the end of 2064, it becomes such a huge amount of money. So they are saying include a lot of joy, fun in the learning puzzles and all of that. And of course, exposure to Indian knowledge system. How did Indian knowledge system happen? They meditated a lot of knowledge. Knowledge has to be tested. Quietness in the classroom, quietly thinking about it, that these are all being emphasized. And emphasis on current affairs. Have sessions with children, tell them about the Ayodhya issue, tell them about what is happening in the parliament, tell them about how the government is demonetization happened, what is a custody, take them to a consumer court and give them understanding about the consumer responsibilities, because it's absolutely needed. That's what is lacking in the system, they are bringing it in. Because I see when I go to my daughters, visit my daughters in abroad and all of that, even a child looks up the expiry date before buying anything. In India, we don't even bother. We just buy things and come home and we eat whatever is we purchase. We don't even look at expiry date. That concept, aesthetic concept, is not given to children. So that is emphasized. That is emphasized in the thing. And then there's a beautiful mention of the course on soft skills, as then they can do. Even they're talking about the activities that one should not do. We talk about it in our Indian scriptures, nishkrita karma, and what is the regular karma we have to do, respecting parents, respecting environment. All this needs to be nurtured, and the child becomes a spokesperson at the end of the 12th standard. When he goes out, he starts practicing. That's how the country can transform. And there is a mention of emotional resilience. If you don't understand what is emotional resilience is like bouncing back. Like a ball, something happens, one negative thing happens, you don't lost in your hope in life, but you come back to life. Okay, this has happened, doesn't matter, I can win. And somebody losing a competition also, they become so negative in life and they don't want to do anything. I know of children who try for IIT, they go into depression. What is the most problem in our schools today? Children are having pressure, stress, depression. So, and what is happening is, in the last 1 year, 2018, around 13 children from IITs committed suicide. IITs are the children who are our toppers from our schools going there, right? And you see they are committing suicide. Means something happens, one thing happened and they don't get a job, or they don't want, love failure happens, they just go and commit suicide. So there is an important stress on emotional resilience has to be taught to children. Doesn't matter. Look at life as a whole. I don't win a prize, it doesn't matter. Next time I can do it. 98 marks I get and 96 marks. What is the difference? Why the child gets depressed because of that? So this is what is there. And then you see we are doing patriotism, and here there is a constitutional values, pride in India, and the spirit of service is being said. I tell you why these are all important. The country has gone back in following the British system and lost all of them. We have lost it. So we are trying to get back to the spirit of service. Today, children think this has to be done by a servant. I don't have to do it. A paper lying in the school, sometimes children don't pick it up. They think the servant has to clean it. There is spirit of service is lacking. I have seen in the countries outside, people drive in cars and come park the car and go and do the cleaning, house cleaning, and then go back. They don't have any, they have no, they don't esteem about it that I'm cleaning and you are not cleaning. Absolutely, it has been come out so beautifully in many of the countries outside, which is lost in our country. We want our children, people to clean, servants to do, where we are not doing things. So, and then the lessons on literature, people of India, they're talking about, tell the glories of India, talk about Ramanujam. The mathematics teachers not worry about teaching plus and minus and all that. She should show a movie on Ramanujam. And see, the child is inspired. He's going to learn on his own. And then, of course, safety. I sent a safety manual to all the schools. I'm very happy now with the way we are all, when one session we are doing, so many people are participating. Your participation is a very big achievement for Education Cell now. I'm so very happy. I have to congratulate and thank all of you that anything we do, you are joining hands. But then why don't you see there are values to whatever we are suggesting? We have suggested about the safety manual. Please take it up. The safety manual is an important thing for the schools. We should have a safety manual. If you remember, I had sent a mail on chanting. Class 1 children should learn this chanting. Class 2 children should learn this chanting. They are all talked about in the education policy now. They are saying Sanskrit and chanting of Om. It's a yoga. It's a great yoga. All that they are talking. America has started doing now. We should do it. We are pioneers in it. I'm telling you, Chinmaya Mission. So follow the chanting syllabus and all of that. And I see some schools are very, very high on chanting and everything, and some schools don't even know some of the chantings, which is not, we can bridge that gap. That is what is the idea about it. So now the assessment also paradigm shift has happened in the last group, secondary school, 2 semesters in a year. Students can do 5-6 subjects in a year, and few common to all, few could be specific. Like 11th, 12th, sometimes some children are doing IP, some children are doing psychology, like that. We can offer it right from the secondary level, and they have to do 40+ semester courses in a year. In that 4 years, eight semesters are there. They have to do 5 subjects in a year. So 40 is minimum every child would do. Some will be common to all, some will be flexible to all. And 15 can school decide, 15 can be decided by student and assessed by the school, and the balance school can decide these courses are compulsory, but some of them can be chosen by subject. And the child can do any number of time. Like, I am ready with my ethical course I am doing on resilience, or something I'm doing, I'm ready, I can say I can take the exam in the first semester itself. Child has a 1 semester each in Indian history and knowledge, contemporary India, all of this, that these are studies. Maths should be studied in at least 2 semesters. Science should be studied in 2 semesters, and the 1 semester should be in Indian history. These are all basic mentioned in the draft. And advanced subjects, computer programming also available. Like when I say 2 semesters in science, it can go for all the 8 semesters. It can go for all 8 semesters for those who are doing advanced mathematics. If somebody is not doing advanced mathematics, he may have to go through only 4 semesters, and then he can write the exam. He has finished in 9th and 10th standard the mathematics, basic mathematics course, but he can write it in 11th standard when he wants to. He is prepared, he can write the exam. This is happening in different countries, I'm telling you. In Finland, they are doing. Children clear English in the 2nd semester. They clear, the one on the ethics they have to do, that they clear in the 3rd semester or in the 1st semester itself. At their own pace is a very, very big major change that I don't know how we are going to do. Even if this is a question mark to me, how can they can take a minimum of 3 exams, and 24 subjects they can cover. It can be this. Here onwards, we can have summative also. Descriptive questions are also allowed. And these are all things about the 4 stages and all of that. More clarity, we do not have more clarity on it, how they are going to do with the current system to go there. It looks like a big task to me. At least I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how we are going to do. And they have also brought in this one national testing agency. It will be also taken in a computer-based test. They can take at any point of time, and it will be one test which will give them admission to engineering colleges or whatever colleges. It's not going to be Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, or in different colleges. It's going to be NTA score will become a very important aspect for the child. And just to give you a brief, after the 12th standard, what happens? I'm just going to give you a brief on the higher education. This is what is called as the higher education. We have seen till the high school education or the secondary education, which we are all connected. What is happening at the higher education is that child can choose a 3-year degree program or a 4-year degree program. And if after 1st year the child wants to leave, they will still get a certificate for completing the certificate on that. If they complete 2 years, they'll get a diploma. After get a 3 year, they'll get a degree. And after 4 years, they'll get a honors degree. I think you remember it was there in our system earlier. There were honors, BA honors, BSc honors, all that was there. Now that is right. Another fantastic thing that has happened is foreign universities are, like we are having BMW car assembling and all of that. Foreign universities are going to be invited to India to establish universities. This is going to be a very, very major break-even point that we need to understand, because we may all struggle in implementing these policies, but they have their own ways of doing things, and that is going to be a very beautiful thing. Foreign countries are going to be invited. Nowadays, after 12th standard, our children are running to US and UK for continuing their studies, but now no longer they have to continue. They are going to come inside the country itself. And one knowledge about the teacher education also. Teacher education, 4 years integrated development course only will be allowed. All those 2-year degree, all that is gone now. We do not have going to have all of that. we are going to have only the 4-year integrated degree course, what we call it as BSc Ed and BA Ed, we call it, right? The BP Ed. See, for physical education, BP Ed is the only thing that is allowed. I don't know, you may be aware, they don't allow the degree in the physical education. They have to do BP Ed. CBSE says only BP Ed is allowed. That is 4-year integrated course in diploma degree in physical education. The same thing is going to happen for the teachers. And the last point, there is a mention of continuous professional development courses, which is a mandatory for all teachers. See, we conduct workshops, Education Cell conducts workshops and all of that. How many hours? That degree, that is also become a kind of a certifying the number of hours. We can put the number of hours there, but compulsory for teachers to do continuous professional development, which NCERT will facilitate both online and offline. This is something very, very, very important. We cannot get stagnant about whatever we have learned and then what we taught, what we learned, I will teach in the classroom. Oh, that is not going to work anymore. We need to have a mandatory hours of this. I also want to tell you that there are so many universities allowing online programs, professional development courses. Every year, people are signing up for and doing. And because from March onwards, we were on a shutdown period, I have done till now 4 courses with 4 different universities because I wanted to also learn, upgrade my knowledge. It is just you have to go and see what are all the courses available online. So many universities are offering, and you can do the course. I have done courses on, learning styles of children, and then one I did on. It's just a matter of coincidence that I did on resilience, one course on that, and some universities issue degrees also. It was from the Deccan University, I got a degree, and one from Purdue University, they give a degree. It's not about the certificate that is coming up, but there's so much of learning. You need to spend weekly 3 hours only. Just go and do it. If you're a maths teacher, English teacher, British Council has got English learning, amazing worksheets and amazing thing. I ask our CRS teachers to do it. They keep continuing working on this professional development. So these are all the which we should tune to it, should get used to it. My physics teacher here has done, at least every year he does 4 professional development courses in physics, takes only in the optic theory and this theory and that theory from various universities. He keeps doing it continuously. You need only 2 hours in a week. You can give your time during watching serial or something. You do it, you'll see that you can get the degree. So these are all what I wanted to share with you. If you have any questions, I can take your questions. But we need to, you need to ask me, raise your hands and unmute yourself and ask me. If you have any questions, I can take it. Yeah, any question? Yeah, is it mandatory to have a 3-year degree course before standard 1? Yes. It is. That is what the school itself starts from class 1. They will not give admission if you go to. They will say where did you do? Like can somebody get into class 3 directly? You will ask for where did you study class 1 and 2. The same way, if this is asked by Sarmishta ma'am. Yes, Sarmishta ma'am. It is becoming the beginning of the school now. 3-year-old becomes the beginning of the school. Right? Not right now. Once it starts implement it, we need not implement it 2020, 21, anything. Just hold on, because the curriculum will come for nursery, lower KG, upper KG also. That was asked by Sarmishta ma'am. And then we have, I have Priyanka Gandhi asking, is it compulsory for a child to do a preschool course before entering grade 1? Yes, it is. It will come up. But when, we don't know. We don't have to worry about doing anything. Government will release circulars, all of that. And first of all, the national curriculum framework has to start the work. The policy is huge, but then nothing has started as it is. If many courses are offered, this is by Sahana. If many courses are offered, the teachers to get training to teach them. We need to have some experts working on getting that kind of a curriculum. It will not be possible for anybody to teach anything. As I told you, if you take somebody is taking sports as a subject, we need to know what are the sports areas are there, what is the fitness, what kind of a fitness is required for basketball, what kind of a fitness exercise is required for cricket playing, things like that. and what diet the person should eat for sports. You see, it has got so many other related. Sports medicine itself is a very big area. If you have cramps at this thing, what should you do? If you build up this, if you have badminton, then how to build up this missiles? It's a complete technical thing. We don't know. We just go take a bat, play, and come back. That's not going to be like that. So we need, you and I cannot do it. No teacher can do unless you have to do. We have to evolve to this. It's not going to be easy. I can see that this is going to be a lot of challenges. And then Anil Sagarji, yeah, there's one more question. Yes, Chitra Vinod Kumar, can a child complete 4 semesters and the rest 4 semesters in other schools? See, that flexibility will be there. This policy is totally towards children friendly. Now CBSE has released a circular. We hear that in 12th standard teachers are not, schools are not giving admission to children. They say, please take children in class 12 also. Verify whether they've done from CBSE board. Ask for the registration number and then apply. If they're not done from CBSE, still you get the details. Say that that boy is ICSE board, like he has done 11th standard, he wants to join 12th standard. Write to us, we will suggest. They don't want us to say, no, sorry. We write like this. I've been a principal. No, I write, our policy says nobody will be admitted in 12th standard, and we finish easily. That is actually not child free. If the child goes to a court, you and I are answerable. It is yes, a child can do 4 semesters here and 4 semesters there, all of that. There are going to be practical implications which we need to figure out how we are going to do it. How about the competitions, exams like NDA? Will they continue? I think they will continue. NDA is a totally different category. National defense. There is a big mention about children should be brought in. They are talking about the Sainik schools, how they are working. The physical stamina, all of that is being worked in Sainik schools. They are promoting National Defense Academy, IPS, administrative exams. There's going to be a course on these administrative exams and all of that. And maybe they'll modify, don't call it as NDA. I'm not knowledgeable on that. But they will not let go of NDA. NDA, UPSC exams, all that will continue, maybe different labeled, they will be named, labeled. I do not know exactly, but that's out that. And then we have a question from Lata Ganeshan. Hari Om, will teaching be done in mother tongue? A class may have students in different languages. How will this be made possible? That is what the teacher needs to be a little more bilingual and doing it. We see in Malaya, Kerala, teachers always go to help children in telling in Malayalam and all of that. If there is a child who does not follow Malayalam, then probably, she has to also speak in English or, take other alternative. And it is encouraging children to do mother tongue also. Like even our own children, my own child, she studied in an English medium school. And at some point of time, I realized why she doesn't know Tamil at all. Then we started giving it. So that is one encouragement for children to learn mother tongue. These are all technical problems we will face. We have to come out how to see it. The national curriculum framework was and CBSE board will give us instructions how to go about it. Like for us, you are talking about one more child in different mother tongue. But in CARS, we have a classroom has different children from different having mother tongue. We have Gujarati children, we have Malayalam children, we have Tamil speaking children. I do not have a solution for all this, but I'm sure government is going to work out strategies for us to implement all that. There won't be any NEET or JEE exam. And NEET will continue. NEET is also one of the thing, but it will go under that assessment center. It will come along with that. Now CBSE is conducting it. The assessment center might take it up and do it. I don't think it will all go away. It will be replaced with, NEET is already one of the exams which is taken all over the country. It is on the same exam, one exam. It may come under the center to design it. We just got to wait and see how these things are going to be handled. And this is from GVK Vidyalaya. Will it be compulsory for a child to continue to 12 in the same school? He or she gets registered in class 9. It is an unwritten thing. It is allowed. It is mentioned like that. So even CBSE currently says those children do not take them out after 11th and 12th. So we have this habit of taking out children in 11th standard. They do not encourage it. But the child wants to change, they can change. How rigid is CBSE or any board is going to be? These certain things will be taken up by the board. You see, this is the biggest umbrella, that is the policy. Government has given the policy based on the draft. The draft gives a lot of these things are all from draft. It's not in the policy. I have gone through the draft and telling you how policy will disseminate into our schools. Now, from the draft, the people are going to work. Curriculum framework will be devised. They'll say there will be a textbook on physical education, there will be a textbook on dancing and all of that. Then all that is given, the boards will now work. CBSE board will tell us how to do about what. They will say this is compulsory, this is mandatory, this is not allowed, this is they will come out with the rules and regulations. These are the do's and don'ts. It's a bottom level, but they want to achieve everything by 2025. 2025, a major breakthrough in national education policy they want. So they have to work. They are working already around the clock, and they are inviting people, a good number of people like us, to work with them to develop syllabus. See, it's a huge thing now. Carpentry syllabus, who has to make? Pottery syllabus, who has to make? A book has to come. Science books in Hindi, science books in Malayalam. Who's going to do? It is a major task. I see that another 15, 20 years it will take for the policy to take a big shape. But once it is taken, it's going to be a major change that is happening. They will see, they will effectively implement it in different levels. So it is by and large understood that the child has to continue. But we schools, we don't listen to the board, but we do take out children and all of that. As principals, we do a lot of things. So we got to see how things go up. Then this is from Asha Lataji. The card. Okay, she has no question. This is from Dheeraj. When children have to go for internship from class 6 onwards, will the school be taking them, or they will have to go on their own? We have to organize it. We can take support from the parents and the community and all of that. We need to provide that, facilitate all of that. We need to facilitate all of that. Some parents can also help us to do that. If some parents say, I can do it in my own level, my child, I can put him in that, and if the school permits, I'm sure that should be acceptable. But the hours, like in IITs, they have, in 4 years, they have to do an internship for 2 weeks. The child himself writes to people and finds out, and the university, Indian Institute also gives suggestions. It should be both based on. We got to see that. Will the boards like CBSE, ICSE exist? Yes, they will exist. Definitely, they will exist. Will it be feasible? This is Durai, that was Anil Sagarji. This is Durai Chandran, VGN Avadi. Will it be feasible to teach in mother tongue when the teachers, they themselves would not have done their schooling in mother tongue? That is what is the skill that is required now. We got to address it. We got to find out how that. If the teacher is not flexible, probably if the school has an English medium section, she has to teach there. We have to appropriately place teachers who can handle all of that. Then we have Vasanti Vijay Kumar. How can we ensure safety of students if they have to make internships mandatory? Yes, it is that can be worked out. You see, we have to give strict mention of the rules and regulations to the place where they are going, what they are doing, and it is a responsibility of that. There will be a undertaking by the parent that this is what the parent has to accept, the child has to accept, school can recommend and provide. We have to go ahead with that. It is not that is not this. It has all got to be figured out. I presume it has got to be figured out. We have Priya Pillai asking, it means that we have to upskill our teachers. Yes, definitely. We have to upskill our teachers. And Tanya Das, Hariom, in the semester exam, can students take up the subject of their choice, give an exam and then learn another subject? Yes, they can do it. They can clear 40 plus. If you see my PowerPoint, I'm mentioning 40 plus. Minimum 40 they will do. Plus, you can go to 42. Somebody can do 48. It is up to the caliber of the child. It is possible. And this is Chitra Vijay Kumar. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, you're welcome. And then we have Kavita Krishnamurthy. What may be the criteria for national entrance exam from Chinmaya Rajapalayam school? Yes, the criteria, all that will be, that it must be passed to secondary school. For the national entrance examinations, it should be past 12th standard. Like 12th standard children write the NEET exam and all of that. The same way, after they pass class 12, that is the secondary school completion, they will take this examination. And actually they are saying there is a mention of it is a flexibility also. I think it's going to be like the SAT exam and the GMA, GRE exams and all that. See, SAT exam, the child can write it enter the 12th standard. The dates will be announced. You can fix for a SAT exam in the month of October. You can fix for a SAT exam in the month of September. You can take it in the month of January. Or you finish March and then take it in April. Your call. You need to register yourself and take the exam whenever you want. So if the child is ready, he can even write the exam in class 11. If you feel he's an extraordinary, brilliant student, he may say, I want to focus on my core studies at the 12th standard. Let me now write the exam in 11th standard. Or maybe in the first semester of 12th standard. Or I will finish 12th and write it. These are the flexibility that are going to be provided. We are allowing SAT exam for our CARS children. They write at different point of time. 5 children will register in the month of November. They are ready for it. They go for it. Some children go after they finish the exam. They say 1 month we will prepare and then write. So they can decide it. And this is Satya Rani from Koramangala. Hari Om ma'am, if the child has studied 2 science papers and 2 commerce papers in the secondary level, will the child be able to engineering or medical courses? Yes. There will be a clear indication given for engineering courses. What are the compulsory things you should have done in that, in the secondary school? Then definitely will be maths, physics, chemistry may be there. Along with that, you can do music, or you can do puppetry, or you can do bakery, or anything that you want, you can do it. So, but they will be able to take engineering or medical courses. In fact, there will be more optionals for you in the secondary level itself. You don't have to just do physics, chemistry, biology to become a doctor in 12th standard. There may be a course on occupational therapy. So that you are right now itself, you are thinking, if I become a doctor, I will take and I'll become an occupational therapist. Like that, you can do psychology because you want to become a clinical psychologist. See, so that option will be there given at that. The biggest challenge, how are we going to handle this courses? So many things, how are we going to do is something probably we have to go slowly and see how we can do it. Sri Vidya Balaji, Hari Om, how are the children allowed to write the exams in mother tongue too? I'm sure it should be allowed. It will be allowed when there is so much of emphasis on that. Then this is Mr. Ashok. Can we give advertising for pre-nursery in 21 and 22? We already have nursery schools. You can go about doing it. We may not have the syllabus and curriculum and all of that, which I think very few schools do not have. All our schools have nursery, and we don't call it as pre-nursery. Please be careful. Do not take 2-year-old children. 3-year-old is the entry point. We call it as a nursery. And then 4-year-old, we call it as lower KG. 5-year-old is upper KG. If you want to call a 3-year-old as pre-nursery and 4-year as nursery and then 5-year as kindergarten, it's fine. What you term it is, let the government release it, but you can go ahead and do it. We can start releasing all of this as whatever we used to do. But the syllabus and curriculum, what the government wants, is not yet come out. So we can have, but you've seen the overall, I've mentioned to you, stories, music, dancing, and Arabics in the classroom. So your outcomes, I gave you that particular slide in the first foundation years, because that's mainly, you want that to happen to the child. Hand motor skills should happen. The physical body development, grace, you should be able to tie a lace. You should be able to wear his own buttons, put the buttons, the hand motor skills, all that. So you can go ahead and do it. Nobody is going to stop us. They never stopped us, and now also they will not stop us. That is not a problem. Advertising, there's nothing you need for advertising for a pre-nursery. You must have your resources. You must have a place if you're not already running it. Otherwise, you can go. You don't need permission from Education Cell also for it. You talk to your management and what you want to do, you go ahead doing it. And then Asha Lata from Hari Om, will they include vocational subjects along with the present curriculum in 11th and 12th standard? Yes, vocational subject will be one paper. Definitely will be there. And that, as I told you, it's going to be all semester exam. Which semester the child can clear, it depends. And this is Nirmala Haridasan. The policy says students will be allowed to choose their subject of interest from grade 9. Or the students mature enough to decide their career at this stage. Will they be able to change the subjects if they want to? Yes, there is an exposure. If you read the policy, it says that the child can be allowed to choose one vocational subject, but get exposure to many other subjects. You have to do that. Like what do we see? This has now shifted to 6th standard. In 9th standard, children have to decide, no, whether in 11th, what will I do? Whether I'll do English or science or management or commerce, arts. Now 6th standard, they've got to choose one vocational subject. So we have to provide the platform. You can decide, these are all being offered in our school, what you want to do. Show them a PowerPoint. 1 month you give them, take them through, call the parents also. We'll be doing all that. That guidance will be given to us also. Don't worry about it. But then they will have to have the maturity, especially when you start from nursery, implementing those children who are doing the foundation years, the way the education policy is, as they come up slowly, those children will definitely have the maturity level. That's how it is aimed at. But when we are starting tomorrow, I'm starting class 6, I'm going to stand a vocational subject. We ourselves won't know, children won't know. We also, as principals, we got to implement it from the foundation years. We'll get a better idea. Yes, maturity, we are expecting them to have maturity. We need to facilitate that. Harshit Singh, this is a student, is it roll number 17? When I posed the question, material bilingual mode, they said MHRD has got multilingual material. Yes, this is what they are aiming at. They have got to prepare it. I think I'll take the last question. There are a few more. Quickly, let me do that. Then will there be a common textbook in the whole country? No, common textbooks, you see, now publishers will jump at it. The curriculum NCRT will release, and after that the publishers will work. You can take a call whether you want to have NCRT common book all over. If you see in CBSE schools, most of the schools have NCRT books. There are some schools who have Oxford publishers, Macmillan publishers. None of the publishers will give up. They will write. The moment NCRT curriculum framework decides the curriculum, you'll see books coming up, and so many options will be there for us to decide. And for schools can take a decision. But I have been following only NCRT books wherever I have worked. I've only asked teachers to keep other publishers' books as a reference. That's what I have been doing, just to they don't want that to happen. They want to feel the government schools, private schools, all are giving the mother tongue. So they think that it will be, they will happily go to government school. This is a process to increase the quality, enhance the quality in the government schools also. The register role of admissions in the government schools also. That's what they are thinking. They want to see in the US and all that. The richest class of people go to government schools. They don't go to private school. They call it as public school. They don't call it as government school. They go to public schools. Public schools are so popular. The best ones are the public schools. There are few who are private schools, and the very few members go there and study. How did that happen in other countries? Why did the situation different in India? You have to think. You and I have to think. Because of lack of quality, lack of infrastructure, government plans to completely go about renovating that. Let us hope. Let's be hopeful about that. And then Anil Sagar is, if CVP is a leading change, then Balavihar curriculum will be for nursery. Absolutely. I told you, we have been talking about it. We had a one Goshti for the children, primary teachers. I'm forgetting the name. So that Goshti, we gave the curriculum for the Balavihar curriculum to the nursery. That's whatever we have been doing, it's that. Class 10 and 12 will have board exams. Yes. I forgot to mention it. There will be one semester that will have a board examination. Yes. There's some of the courses which will be completed only the last semester. They're going to keep a hold on that, like mathematics maybe can be completed in the last semester only. That their child will study for all the 8 semesters. And that advanced maths course maybe, advanced English course maybe, board examination will be there. Which point they want to do, which we are not very sure about it. But 10 and 12 will have the board exams. Even if there is 1 or 2 students, this is Chitra Vinod Kumar, even 1 or 2 students opting for a stream, the school should provide them, which means all subjects should be provided by all schools and schools. No, it is not possible. It is not possible to do it. We can develop whatever is possible. They will, CBSE or the board will give us mandatory, this many courses at least should be possible. 4 courses at least should be all allowed for a child to choose. So you decide which is going to be easy for you. They cannot say put all the courses. Children will look up to, suppose a girl wants to do dance as a course and no school in Kerala is offering, she has to shift to Tamil Nadu if there is a school offering. So they have to make a choice if they're very particular. You and I cannot offer all subjects in the course. Even government schools, even Kendriya Vidyalayas are going to be selective. They will be given a mandatory how many courses to be offered so that children have some choice. That is what this. That is that. And will the boards have the same syllabus? In NEP is the policy, draft has the details. Boards can develop their syllabus falling in line with the education policy. They will still have their differences, but there cannot be major differences saying no 3 languages in Tamil Nadu is now only 2 language. I don't know. I don't think that will be permitted. They'll have to go to the court to find out that kind of a thing is there. So otherwise they have to follow this framework is what I have shown. They have to follow that. How can we make awareness, Kavita Krishnamurthy, how can we make awareness for parents in the trend? This is from Rajapalayam. Yes, we have to go on with it. First of all, government itself will do. See, when they did ECE was brought in all the schools, no? CCE was brought in. Even CBSE went and addressed all schools. CBSE made mentors to address parents. CBSE made some teachers to go through. All that will be taken up. Parents need to be addressed, definitely. and that has got to be done. The truncated school, only 11 and 12, will they given permission to start 9 to 10? Yes, I think the boards have to do that. That's a very, very good question. I think it's is it from Andakalathu? I don't know from who, where it is. This is a very good question. I think 9 and 10, they have to allow. And then that is all about it. I think we'll close with that. Yeah, we had Saisaf Siksha for nursery teachers. Thank you, Minama, for telling me that. His name was slipping in my mind. So this is, I don't, there's one question, Deepa Nair. Can you just inform courses offered for science subjects by other universities in group physics? Physics you mentioned. I don't have the complete details. I'll look up to it. I can send it to you people if you're really, really needed. The pattern of assessment is, this is asked by Jayan Kamra. Pattern of assessment is going for a change, and that is it. That ends the questions. 11:25 it is. I've taken 5 more minutes. It was a wonderful session interacting with all of you. We will ensure that the PowerPoint reaches you, and also the recording, Meena ma'am will send it across to schools. You educate your teachers. Don't you think we all need to know about it? Do you think it isn't very important for all of us to know? At least another 5 years, things are going to come up, and all teachers, principals, we need to be aware upfront, get to understand this whole thing. That is why I thought I'll share this presentation which I shared with the Sahodaya also, the same presentation. But I enjoyed doing it for all of you, and believe in the Chinmaya guidance and instructions that we are giving. You know, Swamini Amma had to tell me one thing when she went through the national education policy. She said, I'm absolutely convinced, elated, because this is what is in CVP, which we introduced 25 years ago. She says our Indian education system, Sanskrit, chanting, and value systems and all of that. She says this is, I really feel completely fulfilled that the government is now thinking, but we have done it. Patriotism, we have talked about it. That is there's a 500-page document is the draft. If you read it, you will see that. They're talking about patriotism. They are talking about universal issues, plastics, no wasting water, all that we cover under universal outlook. They are talking about chanting, which we talk in the spiritual development, and they are talking about emotional development, helping nature, resilience. All of that is talked about. Physical development is, of course, yoga is going to become a course in the thing. So it's all CVP. So we are all leaders in this now. National education policy, we will not have much difficulty at all. So see that. I want you to keep it in mind about the safety manual which we talked about. If you want, you write to Meena Amma. She will send it again to all of you. This time is the time when you can write the policy, and also the chanting which we have suggested. Follow it in all the classes so that they all stand together as uniformly strong with all of our systems. Thank you so much. Let's face whatever we have to get instruction from the board. Let us all close with a Shanti part. Thank you once again. Let's quietly contemplate on whatever we have got instructions. A lot of pieces of information that I've given. A lot of work can be done by you if you read the manuals, if you read the policy and the draft document. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om. Thank you. Hari Om.